With the property market currently at a record high, it is vital to stay one step ahead of your competition when selling your house. I'm giving 3 sellers the chance to snoop around each other's houses.
A lovely bright room.
Avocado, beautiful.
For goodness sake, who'd have a fish tank in your kitchen?
To see what they can do to make their homes more appealing to our potential buyer.
I was just thinking my son would love this.
The initial impression is good.
Yes.
Excellent, that's what we'd like to see. Today, fierce fighting talk.
Don't like the house, a bit twee.
Someone without a dog, they're going to be really upset about that, so that needs to be dealt with.
Reality bites.
Oh, God, it's making me want to heave.
And a battle on my hands. Just pretend that I am somebody trying to buy this house. You can do that one.
I can do that, possibly, if I have to.
Today, I'm helping 3 homeowners trying to sell their houses in the Hertfordshire town of St Albans. They're all competing with each other in the hope of getting an offer from market stall trader Laurence and his wife, who, with their kids having left home, are looking to downsize. He's got a budget of £400,000. So, Laurence, this is the start of you living the dream. And what are you looking for?
3/4 bedrooms. Nice house, nice garden, nice views.
Perfect. So the budget is up to £400,000, isn't it? Now, does that include work?
I don't really want a property that people have done up. I prefer the one that hasn't got the new kitchen for £350, that we can do the work on it.
Now, there's somebody missing, your missus, because she's working today, isn't
yes.
she? Does she trust you to go out and look at properties?
Oh, yeah. But then, at the end of the day, we'll make the decision between the 2 of us.
Right. Have you got to chuck a lot of stuff out?
I'll be putting them on the back of my Reliant Robin.
I was going to say, your
After a boot
market
sale.
stall. Your market stall's going to have all your own stuff on it. Who wants a sofa? Talking of market stalls, any little phrases that we should be thinking about throughout this journey?
Let your eyes be your guide.
Let your eyes be your guide.
And the money the last thing you part with.
OK. We'll keep those 2 in mind then while we're going around. I've lined up 3 fantastic houses for him to look at, but before he does, our sellers get the chance to size up the competition and find out where their strengths and weaknesses lie. Our first seller is 58-year-old recruitment consultant and animal lover Maureen, who spent the last 15 years raising her 2 children in her 3-bedroom bungalow. Our buyer Laurence is used to bungalow living, but Maureen's comes with something extra, a pool.
When I first came to view this place, the sun was shining into the room, the pool was reflecting off of the ceiling, and it just felt like a holiday home. It felt like I was in a villa in Spain.
The African decor has been inspired by Maureen's trips to visit relatives in Kenya, but what really dominates is her massive collection of animals.
At the moment, living here, 4 sausage dogs, 3 cats, 2 lizards, and a whole collection of crickets to feed the lizards. So we are a bit of a menagerie here. It is a zoo and a complete madhouse. My dogs are my passion, and love them to bits, so they are... Oh, well, I think they run the house, actually.
Maureen's semi-detached bungalow has the 3 bedrooms Laurence is after. While the swimming pool could either tempt him to take the plunge or completely put him off, it's 20 grand under his budget at £380,000. Next, a retired couple, Len and Pauline, who've lived in their 3-bedroom semi-detached house for the last 38 years. While they've updated the decor in the bedrooms, downstairs Pauline's gone for what she calls her regal feel.
Well, we like to feel that if anybody knocked at the door or something, even if it was the Queen, I would be able to invite her in and she could have a cup of tea here quite happily, and even if she wasn't feeling very well, I'd be quite happy saying to her, did she want to lay down in one of my bedrooms?
That's a whole new meaning to a queen-size bed. Downstairs, they're definitely one for home comforts.
Well, I've always felt that a home should have nice warm carpets, a bit of colour. I'm possibly one of these people that likes the standards that I can't have, but I do my best with what I've got.
Champagne lifestyle and a brown ale income.
Len and Pauline's post-war semi could be the perfect match for Laurence. It has the 3 bedrooms and traditional decor, and it's on the market at £375,000. My final sellers are Alison and Nathan. They bought the semi-detached 3-bedroom house they share with their 2 boys 10 years ago and set about decorating it in their signature modern style.
We stayed here for as long as we have because we just love the house, we love the road, we love the outlook, we love the space.
I think its biggest feature is downstairs it's open plan, which we really like. It works for us with the kids. And yeah, there's just a lot of room.
The ever-growing amount of family stuff means the garden room cum office has had to accommodate the overspill of clutter.
Unfortunately, that office has now just become like a bit of a gigantic cupboard. And it is a bit of a dumping ground.
Yeah.
And it could be a really good space.
Alison and Nathan's spacious house has 3 bedrooms and the added bonus of a garden room. It's on the market for just under £400,000. So it's Maureen's bungalow with the pool, Len and Pauline's post-war semi, and Alison and Nathan's open-plan family house, all competing for my buyer, Laurence. All 3 sellers now have the chance to check out their rivals' houses. Forewarned is forearmed, so they should have a much clearer idea of what they need to do to stay ahead of the competition and get a sale. First, we're at Maureen's bungalow. If I'm honest, Maureen's house feels a little bit like Noah's Ark. There are an awful lot of animals in there, and while the swimming pool could be a fantastic selling point, in its current unloved state, it's more likely to put potential buyers off rather than making them want to buy it. First up is Alison and Nathan.
Don't like the house. Just looks a bit twee.
Well, it's a
But it's a big
bungalow.
plot.
Yeah.
The bungalow, I can see from the outside, it's not going to be for me. It's all according to what's on the inside.
Yeah, see.
It's hard to say from out here.
Well, in you go for a closer look then.
If I was seriously having to look at this to live in, it would have to be gutted. To anybody that's not a cat lover, that would have to go.
Oops, no better inside.
This is a pet's home. This is not a home, this is just a pet's home.
There's a smell, it's the animal smell. That's what
Yeah,
we were
you
trying to
can
avoid.
smell the
I mean, we've got
animals.
dogs, but
Yeah.
that's,
Can smell
it's
the-
really hard, isn't it? Definitely move the bird cage if you're having people over to see the house.
Well, I would, yeah.
Yeah. And the Cat Olympics, get rid of that as well.
So far, so bad in the sitting room, and there's more than they bargained for in the bedroom.
Oh, God, no. What is in them? Is it insects, rats, or what?
Don't
No,
find,
I'm
isn't
not
it?
coming in. Oh, no, I'm not going in that. Oh, God, it's making me want to heave.
Think that makes the point that pets don't win prizes when it comes to selling. No one is seeing Maureen's house as competition, but let's not forget the pool, though.
My goodness.
Wow, it's higher than the house.
I think that actually will put a lot of people off.
Uh-oh.
This paving is all higgledy-piggledy for a start, and there's no rail to get into it. I certainly, if I was a family looking to buy, I'd fill it in. It looks a mess, quite frankly.
So it's another thumbs down. Time to see what they'll make of Maureen's £380,000 price tag.
No, I'm sorry.
380,000.
For that, I would pull it down and rebuild a new one.
Yeah.
They think it's Saint-Tropez because they've got a pool. They think.
I don't know. I don't know if you would get a lot of interest at that price.
No.
So both sets of sellers are feeling confident that their houses are in the lead. Next, we're at Len and Pauline's 3-bedroom post-war semi. Len and Pauline have lived in their home for nearly 40 years, and unfortunately some of the decor is beginning to look a little tired. But with a bit of updating, it does have the potential to make somebody a fantastic family home. Well, let's see how first impressions go down.
Ah, I don't like all the flowers out the front. It's too chintzy for me.
That's the outside. How about the inside?
Oh wow.
It feels a lot smaller than ours, doesn't it?
Yes, it's
Busy.
busy, quite loud, quite dated.
I like the size of the rooms, but if I were to move in here, it would probably have to be totally redecorated. I don't like all the patterns, I'm afraid. I noticed they've put a splash of mauve in here, mauve, which makes it even more important to get rid of this pattern.
So Maureen's still dissing the decor, but I hope Alison and Nathan can see how clutter can shrink a space.
You can't really see how much space you've got. This makes it look smaller, and actually this could be a really lovely big area.
They could really transform the space just by taking half of it out.
Yeah, they could.
It hasn't got any weeds and it is quite nice and tidy and clean. And I don't know if I should say, but it hasn't got any dog poo like mine does.
At least Maureen is seeing the benefits of having no pets around.
375,000. I would have thought it'd have been a bit more. That surprises me. Then I think that's a really good price for it.
It's about 20 grand more than I thought.
Yeah. But
That makes ours good value.
I think ours is good value compared to that.
So where Maureen feels it could be competition, Alison and Nathan are still confident that theirs is the best. But at least they're learning something. For Alison and Nathan, the advantages of decluttering, and for Maureen, the need to transform her garden. Finally, we're at Alison and Nathan's open plan family home. They're not making the most of one of their biggest assets, which is their garden office. They do, however, have a very modern and contemporary home, which might give the other sellers some food for thought. And first to take a look is Maureen.
I like this. I think it's better than mine from the outside. Definitely.
Positive vibes from Maureen. I hope they continue inside.
Oh, yes. This is lovely.
While she's enjoying the clean, modern feel,
This is what I hope to move to, something like this. Fabulous.
it seems Len and Pauline aren't impressed with what they come face to face with.
Oh my God.
Oh,
The freezer's in the lounge.
Found some dog poo. Someone without a dog, they're going to be really upset about that, so that needs to be dealt with.
A bit of dog poo is nothing compared to the zoo in your house. Next, they snoop around the garden room.
Wasted, well, they obviously
well,
need it
again,
for...
is it wasted? Our garage is just full of clutter and rubbish, isn't it? I mean, what do you do with it?
They haven't got one, have they?
You're not going to come up here every day and use the
No,
garden,
no,
the Wendy house, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
So, not necessarily wasted. They've got their clutter in it, which is what we do. So,
Yeah, for
but
them, I
it's a nice
suppose
place.
it's a bonus.
Ah. Oh, I could do a lot with this. You could actually market this house, I think, as having an outside office.
Maureen's right. With some TLC, this extra room in the garden could be a far bigger draw for potential buyers. Mixed thoughts from the sellers. So how will Alison and Nathan's price tag of just under £400,000 go down?
Our house is 25,000 cheaper than this. At that level, why isn't our house selling?
I think that's too much. That surprises me. I think that's quite high.
So all three sellers have plenty to think about. I'm in St Albans, where our buyers Laurence and his wife Kim are looking to downsize now their children have left home.
We want to be mortgage-free because, we worked all our lives and really just want a kind of a life now.
I've lined up 3 potential properties that fit Laurence's downsizing requirements. But before he takes a look, they've had a snoop around each other's houses. So our sellers have seen the competition for themselves, and they now have 1 week and £1,000 to make the changes they need to tempt our buyer Laurence.
My thoughts at this stage is that I live in a mansion compared to what I've just seen today.
If a buyer came into those 3 houses, I can't see that they would choose these over ours.
To compete, I need to minimalise my house completely.
I'm glad Maureen's realised she needs to minimalise her house, but I want to make sure she knows just how much. Now, you have a lot of animals, and it is something that the other sellers picked up on, that they felt it was more of a home for animals than it was for people.
Oh dear.
Maybe one of the bedrooms where the lizard lives, think about putting all the dogs' baskets in there, so it's more contained.
I think that's quite a good idea, because also I have noticed that you can get a bit of a dog smell as well.
So far, so good on the pets front. Now that African decor.
I've tried to get a sort of ethnic African, warm, earthy feel.
I can see where you're coming from because I look at the curtains and I look at the sofa and I look at the rug and they're all a similar colour palette and they're all a similar pattern. I feel that maybe the walls, maybe look at painting them a sort of beigey colour or a more neutral colour just to lighten it up a little bit. Declutter it, pare it back a bit, repaint the walls, send the bird on holiday.
I will try it, most definitely. I'll give it a go.
Yeah, nothing too major.
Maureen's got some work to do on the interior of her home, but there's one thing that could be a real draw for buyers, but right now it's failing to sell the house at all.
Swimming pools can either be a fantastic selling point or they can be a bit of something that will put people off. As it is, it's a great sized pool and it's in a good area and you've still got this space in the garden as well that you can use. What this outside needs is a major tidy up. A lot of these paving stones are uneven and are cracked.
No.
Just pretend that I am somebody trying to buy this house. So I walk out here and I think that's a great pool, but it's so bitty out here that it must mean that it takes a lot to keep it up. What you want to create out here is a kind of area that people will come out to and think, wow, imagine what this place is going to be like in the summer.
That's exactly what I need.
Yeah, and at the moment they come out and think, I'm going to tread in some dog poo and that pool needs a good clean.
Yes.
I've been harsh but fair. I just hope Maureen has taken on what I'm saying.
Maureen has a very unique selling point with that swimming pool, but she does face some very stiff competition with the other two properties, so she really needs to bring that area back to life. She also needs to do something about all of those animals.
And that's exactly where she starts. Accompanied by her son's partner, Lindsay, Maureen decides to replace those smelly dog beds.
Oh, this is it. This is what I'm looking for.
For Maureen's 4 sausage dogs, the beds have to be the right size.
I think the front bit where they climb in is too high because they've only got the little legs.
That's quite cool, actually.
I think that's the one. I like that. I really like that. OK, brilliant. Good.
On her way out, something else catches her eye.
Oh, look at this one. Pet odour remover. That's the one. Thanks. Bye. Bye-bye.
Talking of removing, back home, Maureen is taking down the cat totem pole.
And what we do is we put it in the middle of the room and take it apart bit by bit. Gosh, it's really heavy.
The cockatiel's staying with her brother for a while, so when it's safely placed in the back of the car, Maureen helps lift the cage into the boot.
Right, there we go. So you're ready to go on holiday.
Next, it's Len and Pauline's. They didn't think much of the competition, so it's down to me to give them a few home truths.
I've had a good look around, as have the other sellers. Some of the feedback that they've come back with is that upstairs is beautiful. Downstairs just feels a tad opulent, but slightly dated, if you don't mind me saying so.
No, that's fine.
We were working our way down the house. We were going to get to this when we decided to sell. So this was the next bit on the list to be done.
Your bottom doesn't match your top.
And to get the buyers through the door, I think it needs to.
I think the wallpaper has to go, as much as I know it's going to pain you to do it, Pauline. And I would suggest a very neutral palette through here.
There is a bit of a drawback. The quality of the plastering in this room is not good. So, yes. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah. And that's what we did in the bedrooms.
All going well so far. They're keen to update the sitting room, but let's see how it goes in the kitchen.
What do you think I'm going to say about it?
Lose the wallpaper.
The comments that we have from the other sellers is it's just too busy, there's too much going on. You've got mosaic black tiles, you've got swirly purple tiles, and you've got all this wallpaper. It's probably not the sort of kitchen you want to come in with a hangover. It is a little bit...
If we take the wallpaper off, the plaster in here is worse than in there. It is dreadful.
Well, if the plasterers are needed in the sitting room, they could always do in here at the same time.
It's something to ponder on while you're stripping the wallpaper next door. You ready for this? Come on, you've got to sell it. We've got to get this house sold. I think the hardest part of this entire process won't be the stripping and replastering of the walls. I think it's going to be for Pauline to let go of her very distinctive style and embrace a more neutral colour palette. But the house hasn't sold, so maybe it's time for something completely different.
I'm fired with enthusiasm, actually. I'm eager to get going. I'm all up for this, definitely.
Oh, that's great.
I'm devastated.
Not quite the positivity that I was hoping for. To appeal to buyers, I think Len and Pauline need to replace their outdated sitting room carpet, which they've had for years. But to convince them, I need to find her something equally hard-wearing.
Let me show you some of the different options that you can have. Now, this is very similar to the ones that you've got upstairs, isn't it? This, look at Pauline's face. It's like the complete opposite to what you've got now. But you know that the very fashionable sort of seagrass and the coir that you can care.
But it looks more hard-wearing than...
Yeah, it's something that you could go... It's something to consider.
It
It's
looks
a bit
like
doormat.
a wicker basket.
Yeah, it's a bit doormat, isn't it, really?
No.
No?
No.
I like this one. I think this one would work really well in here. Now, something like this will retail round about £7, £8 a square metre. So you do have a lot to put down here, but I do think it will make a big difference.
I could live with this one, but that to me strikes as cold.
Right.
It looks like the beach.
OK.
I don't like that one.
But you can do that one.
I can do that one, possibly, if I have to.
So they might still be deciding over the carpet, but at least the wallpaper's going.
It took at least 2 months to hang this wallpaper. It wasn't the easiest of things to hang.
Everything that I liked about this room has now gone. Got to move on, I suppose, if we want to sell, which we do. Oh, it's quite sad, really.
Finally, I'm off to see Alison and Nathan, and I'm hoping they're still intent on dealing with their clutter.
So when you had a look at the other sellers' houses, what did you learn from those?
Well, we learnt about clutter, that, you know, about how you can... Perhaps the rooms can look a lot smaller than perhaps they
If
need.
you've got lots of stuff.
Yeah.
That's a relief.
The two areas that I noticed as soon as I walked in is this area.
Yeah.
And the fact you got a fridge in your hallway. Or a freezer.
It's sort of on its way into the garden shed, but it's never quite made it there.
I mean, it is something that the other sellers picked up on when they came in. They said, why have they got a fridge or a freezer in the hallway?
The fridge freezer suggests the place is too small and will send the wrong message to buyers.
You need to give the appearance of sleek lines, lots of storage. And that does not say lots of storage. First of all, declutter it. Get as much of it out as you possibly can.
Okay.
And then go somewhere like a reclamation yard, a junk shop, second-hand shop, and see if you can find some kind of cabinet that would fit in there.
Now, onto that extra room in the garden.
The thing is, these sort of rooms, these garden rooms, offices, dens, whatever you want to call them, are so popular now.
Yeah.
What's happened is it's just become a kind of dumping ground, hasn't it? And it smells a bit damp.
Yeah.
It does.
And the walls need redoing. What it is now is a glorified shed, isn't
Yes.
it? Effectively.
It is.
We did used to love this space. It was really nice once.
Can we inject some love back in here again then?
Yes.
Doable?
Yeah,
Doable.
I think so.
I'm looking at you, Mr. Ruthless, because I reckon you're going to come in here like a tornado and just get rid of the
That's
love.
all we're going to go.
Great. Nathan seems enthusiastic to roll up his sleeves and get stuck in.
I think the biggest job is going to be the office, clearing out everything and deciding, arguing over what we're keeping, what's going.
Sounds like they need an adjudicator to me.
Strike while the iron's hot. Who wants to be the sentimental box and who wants to be the chuck it out box?
I'll be the thrower.
I'll be the keeper.
You'll be the sentimental one.
There's a
OK,
box.
right. So let's start CDs. Wheels on the bus?
Yeah, no, they can go.
Chuck?
Really? Oh, good.
Kylie Minogue.
No, all of those CDs can go.
Atomic Kitten. That can definitely go.
Can go. They can both go.
Yeah?
Yeah, they can go.
I mean, that's still got the tags on.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I know.
You're never going to use that, are
No,
you?
we're never going to use that.
So that can go.
And it's got no sentimental value because they've never ever worn it.
Is it going?
It's going to go.
Go on,
Come
then.
on.
Look at it out of
It's
here.
going out of
Into
here.
space.
Yeah. Then the kids are at school.
Alison and Nathan have created a beautiful family home, but the trouble with open plan living is that everything has to have its place. So with a bit of reorganisation and a bit of a declutter, they'll hopefully get the sale thereafter.
In the Hertfordshire town of St Albans, 3 homeowners are competing with each other to sell their home to our buyer, Laurence.
I'm looking for 3 bedrooms. I'd like to be able to extend if possible. With that potential, there's so many things you can do.
Having checked out each other's houses to compare the competition, Nathan and Alison are battling to chuck out their chintz.
Is it going?
It's going to go.
Go on then.
Or are we just going to find another home for it?
We're going to get it out of
It's
here.
going out of here.
Whilst Len and Pauline are coming to terms with updating their sitting room.
I cannot believe my curtains are being used for duck sheets.
Having sent the pets on a long holiday, Maureen turns her attention to toning down her African theme.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic and relaxing, but I wouldn't recommend it more than once in a lifetime.
Outside, she's hired in gardener Darren to help with smartening up the pool area, and he's got his work cut out.
Difficulty with the actual stones themselves. None of them are particularly even. Nothing's particularly square, so it's trying to get everything looking as neat as possible without having to take everything apart and redo the whole lot.
It's costing her £460, but it's worth spending half her budget on. It's an arduous job when you're relaying slabs, but with a bit of manpower, anyone can do it. Lift up all of the wonky slabs, compress sand onto the area and level. Then you're ready to place the paving stones back down. A leveller for the weekend will cost you £45, and labour, if you're doing it yourself, free. When your fence is looking green and worn, instead of replacing it at a vast cost, hiring a jet washer for £15 a day will do the job.
I think for a lot of people, if they're not very green-fingered, gardens tend to get quite neglected. So what sort of tips would you say to people, if they're not Monty Don, to make it look presentable?
Not to be scared of your garden. Consider it as another room. So clean, declutter. Make everything look neat and tidy. You want it to look like an inviting place.
So clear out all the old plant pots, get rid of the weeds, get a jet washer. I guess if you just keep on top of it, it's not such a daunting prospect when you get out there and you can't see anything.
No, it's just really, the best thing to do is just keep sweeping.
Sort of 15
keep
minutes
looking
a
after
day.
it.
Yeah.
All three sellers are knuckling down, but it's only a matter of days until our buyer Laurence takes a look at their properties, so there's no letting up if they want to beat the competition.
At Len and Pauline's, the wallpaper's off and Pauline can see the extent of work that needs to be done.
It's all a case of time, really. And I probably will like it once I get used to it. But I've just got to keep telling myself it's for somebody else and not for me.
But the walls aren't in the best of condition, and neither is the ceiling.
Main thing is the ceiling.
You don't want to keep that nice architect, no?
No.
OK.
Nice architect. It's a contradiction in terms, isn't it? No. Nice and architect don't go together.
It's going to cost them an extra £570 to have the whole room skimmed, but the smooth finish will be worth every penny.
2 days we should do this whole room quite comfortably.
Plastering is a real art, and it's definitely a job worth paying for, not for the general DIYer. Whilst the walls are underway, it seems Pauline can't quite let go of that beloved carpet.
I've lost my wallpaper, and that's a big sacrifice. I'm sorry, the carpet stays.
Well, that's me told, and I don't see much happening in the kitchen either.
We think that the lounge should be the priority because it's the first room you see when you come into the house.
The kitchen is going to take second place at the moment, definitely.
It's such a shame Len and Pauline aren't transforming the kitchen too, as kitchens sell houses, and this wallpaper makes the room feel dated and cramped. At Alison and Nathan's, I'm glad to see they're adding a new lease of life to the garden room. Nathan's roped his friend in to help paint it a contemporary shade of clay.
What do you reckon of the colour, Pete?
Hard to comment. I think wait until it dries and see what it's like.
Wait until it dries. It's not going to change colour. You know, when you're just getting started, it's you need to see the whole thing painted.
Well, I think it looks very smart.
I like the colour. Do you like the colour?
We're not sure. The jury's still out on the colour.
I'm confident that painting the garden room will give it a new lease of life, and for just £46, you can't say fairer than that. Meanwhile, Alison is painting the inside of the garden room with slightly more urgency.
This has got to be painted and done, because I mean, that would be crazy to put the carpet down and then carry on painting, although I bet that ends up happening.
People can pay between £3,500 to £45,000 for a garden room these days, so it's all worth the effort. Encouraged by the decluttering of the garden room, Alison and Nathan set about tackling the understairs storage.
We're going to get everything out and we're going to get rid of this unit, which has been useful but isn't very attractive. I have actually forgotten I had so many bits of food.
The only problem is what to throw and what to keep.
They've all got hats, scarves and gloves in. That's all those three top boxes.
Right, so what are you saying?
They're just unbelievable. And there's shoes that we didn't even know we had, coats we didn't know we had. It's just too much stuff.
Simple answer to that problem, chuck it all out.
The pile for throwing things away isn't very big, unfortunately. I think it should be bigger. He thinks it's all mine, but actually it's called being a family and having lots of stuff.
Over at Maureen, she's called in the troops to do the last finishing touches to the outside.
It seems like there's still such a lot to do. But I think we will get it done, but there is still a lot to do. I think I'm going to have to buy dinner for everyone.
Maureen's hard work has really paid off. Her sitting room was once filled with African memorabilia and pet life, but with a good declutter and a shade of grey on the walls, it's now a peaceful haven of tranquility and soft furnishings.
It's transformed the place, hasn't it? It really has.
It really has, yeah, completely different.
Are your animals still talking to you? Do you still have all your animals?
The animals are really funny because they don't like sitting on the cold floor. Right. So they knock the scatter cushions off of the sofa.
And then sit on that.
And then sit on those.
You've done a cracking job, Maureen, you really have.
I'm really pleased with it, thank you.
Should we go out into the garden?
Oh, no, wait till you see the garden.
Let's go look.
The swimming pool area was a bit of a damp squib, but with a good clear up and the slabs relaid, it's a relaxing space you'd really want to take a dip in.
What a difference a week makes. I bet you don't want to move now, do you?
Oh, it's absolutely fabulous. Yeah. It's really, really gorgeous.
I mean, you think back to what it was like with all the pots everywhere. Are you pleased with it?
I love it. I really do love it. Darren's done a fantastic job out here.
He really has. Really has.
At Len and Pauline's, they can finally put their house back to rights.
Well, all we've got left to do now is the cleaning and put everything back into where it should be and try and make it presentable again.
And it's the final push to straighten out her newly decorated sitting room.
I'm quite happy now to let people to come and see my house as is. Let's hope they like it this time.
The sitting room was regal and dated, and although I'd have preferred the carpet to be gone, lightening up the walls with a fresh colour has made it reign supreme.
I mean, I must say, walking in here, it has made a big difference. Just by moving the furniture and redoing the walls, it instantly feels brighter, fresher, much more modern.
Oh, thank you.
Pauline, how are you feeling?
I'm pleased with the result for the brightness, and I'm glad I've kept my carpet because I think with all this blandness, it needs the warmth from the red to bring it out.
OK, because the carpet was what I was about to move on to.
Yeah.
Why have you kept it? Was it a budget thing or was it a personal choice thing?
Yeah, no, it was a personal choice. We felt that first impressions coming into the room were more important, the walls and making it look bigger.
And you wanted to hang on to the carpet?
And I wanted to hang on to the carpet. Sorry, but...
It's your regal carpet, isn't it?
It is my bit of regency, yeah.
It's the last push at Alison and Nathan's. The carpet is being laid in the garden room, allowing them to move that carbuncle of a fridge.
As soon as Amanda's gone, we can stick it back.
Well, I am a bit grumpy about having to do this.
What I'm going to be annoyed about is when I want a Calippo, having to come up the garden in the pouring rain to get a Calippo.
It's a small price to pay for selling your house, Nathan. Inside, Nathan thinks he has a solution for storing the hallway clutter. He's found a rather large wardrobe for a rather small space.
Is it going to fit in?
Yes.
Even with the skirting?
By half a centimetre.
Will it go in past the skirting, though? What do you want to do?
Come back to your side. It's got to go in absolutely 100% square.
It's square. It's as far this way as it can go.
Can't be.
It is.
It's going to get wedged. It's almost in.
It's just got to get over the step, hasn't it? It's got to get over the step.
The only way it's going to go in is if it was tilted.
No, it's not going in.
It can go in.
After a tiresome battle, it's finally in.
It is in with about 0.5 millimetre to spare, and there's no way that's coming out. So whoever buys our house has inherited a beautiful cupboard with it.
Now it's just a case of finding a place for everything, with 2 children not really helping.
Boys.
Outside, the garden room is having its last tidy up too.
I'd put the big cupboard in that back wall because it'll make it look really spacious. And...
Yep.
The gardener is power washing the decking for just £75 for a smart and complete finish.
It's consumed our life for the last week. All the major stuff has been done. I think we've done a good job.
Yeah.
Where coats and hats were overspilling and cluttering the hall, the cupboard has finally given them a home. And with the fridge freezer gone, there's a great sense of space.
It looks fantastic. I've got my eye on that cupboard. You might find that going home in my handbag.
No, it won't. Unless you've got a sledgehammer, you will not be getting it out, I tell you.
That literally makes an enormous difference. I think it looks fantastic. Yeah. And you've got rid of the freezer?
Yeah, we haven't got rid of it, but
we took a lot of stuff out of the office, but we put one thing back in it.
What was a forgotten, dilapidated shed is now a warm, welcoming garden office.
Oh, my goodness. It's like a different... Well, it is a different room.
I know. It's great, isn't it?
How busy have you two been?
I know. Well, it's a proper room now,
well, it's an office, isn't it? It's somewhere that you can come and work in peace. Really, really good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm in St Albans, where I'm getting ready to show buyer Laurence 3 houses, now that the owners have finished their makeovers. Len and Pauline have come round to ditching their regal interior.
I think the changes we've made have made us much more confident of selling.
I definitely think we're front runners.
Maureen has moved the pets, spruced up the sitting room and given the swimming pool area a good old clear-up.
It's much, much better to show people around, especially if they don't have pets.
And Alison and Nathan have hidden the family clutter and utilised the garden room.
I do feel really confident that we're going to sell this house, especially looking at what else is out there.
All 3 sellers have been painting, plastering and de-petting their houses in the hope of getting an offer from buyer Laurence. First house we're at is Len and Pauline's.
So, Laurence, my lovely, what do you think?
Looks well maintained. Yeah. Very nice.
The initial impression is good?
Yes.
Excellent. That's what we like to see. Should we go on in?
Yes.
Let's go.
Thank goodness. I'm hoping his positivity continues when he enters the once busy but now pared back sitting room.
So you are a man that goes with his gut and his instincts. What are your instincts telling you?
You can swing more than the cat around in here.
You certainly can. Do you think the wife would like it?
Yes.
Do you think the wife would keep the carpet?
Definitely not.
You're so on my team.
I told them it had to go, just like the wallpaper in the kitchen.
What do you think?
Yeah, nice.
I think the great thing about this kitchen is there's bags of storage, which a lot of the time in kitchens you don't get.
There really is a lot of potential in this property.
Lovely, lovely.
Looks like Laurence can really see the potential with this house. I hope it continues upstairs.
So here we go. This is one of 3 good-sized bedrooms, and this is the one that if you wanted to, you could go out at the back and create a big master bedroom stroke ensuite bathroom.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this house. This house has good vibes.
Excellent.
I mean, it's got downstairs. It's huge potential, and you've got the space, and it's clean. You can move straight in, count your pennies, and see what you can do.
Talking about counting pennies, how much do you think it's on the market for?
I would say between 385 and 415.
375. Few little pennies left over.
Yeah.
Got you thinking, isn't it?
Definitely has.
Good, good.
Sounds like Laurence is already moving in, but I've still got 2 other properties to show him. And next I'm at Maureen's bungalow.
Now, I know how much you love a bungalow, because you're in one at the moment. So this is the next property that I want you to see.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
No.
Straight away?
Straight away. No.
OK, not feeling it.
Well, maybe the sitting room, which has gone from pet hell to peaceful haven, will make a difference.
Not impressed.
OK.
There is only one room.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
That's it.
That is it.
There's the potential to go up into the loft, if you wanted to. But that is the unique selling point.
Time for my last throw of the dice. Will Maureen's swimming pool encourage him to take the plunge?
You see, I had visions of you out here in the kind of Del Boy trotter kind of style with your pina colada, your mankini on. Not feeling it?
Nah.
What would you do then?
Fill it in.
Fill it in.
Well, that's clear. Maureen has done a lot to improve this area. Laurence may not like it, but it'll be the perfect home for someone. I shudder to think what he thinks it's worth.
225.
It's actually on the market at £380,000. I did think you were either going to love it or hate it, and it appears to be the latter. So shall we move on?
Yes.
Let's go.
So Laurence has loved one house and hated the next, but I still have Alison and Nathan's open-plan semi to show him.
So here we are. What are we thinking?
There's plenty of space.
Yeah. The outlook?
Yeah, I mean, it looks, from outside, it looks a nice home. No, good position.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, that's the response I was hoping for. Surely things can only improve when Laurence sees the new clutter-free open-plan layout.
What do you think?
It's a bit spacious.
Is this open plan enough, or would you open it more?
I'd open it more. It's, as I say, you could move straight in, but it does want work on it.
OK.
The doors are not my cup of tea.
You don't like them?
No.
But they're all pine, stripped.
I know.
Not feeling them?
No.
OK.
All going well for the piece de resistance that once shabby shed, which is now a secret den.
And this room can be used for whatever purpose you want. At the moment, they currently use it as an office. Great for teenage den.
That's brilliant. I was just thinking my son would love this. But as I say, useful for an office as well.
Yeah.
So you get your office away from the home. This is a great feature.
I'm so glad Alison and Nathan spent time and effort in here. The extra room is a real bonus to buyers. Let's see what he thinks of upstairs.
So here's the master bedroom. What you tend to get with this house is you don't get one big bedroom and then two little bedrooms. They're all round about the same size. Does it work as a house for you? Because it is quite a quirky house, this one.
It is. It didn't work when I first came in.
Right.
I mean, you can do things with downstairs and jiggle it about. At the back has done it, I think. And upstairs here is 3 good-sized rooms.
Yeah. And because you haven't got to use one of the rooms as an office, you've actually got 3 bedrooms, haven't you?
Yes. And you're not overlooked.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
All sounding good so far.
This one is at the top whack of your budget, 399,950. So it's 50 quid short. Yeah.
Right.
But, you know, you could move straight into it.
You could.
Let's ponder a while. Back out you go, my lovely. 50 quid to sort these doors out.
Lots to think about. I think we can rule out Maureen's bungalow as an option for Laurence, but that still leaves Alison and Nathan's spacious house, which was an instant hit, or Len and Pauline's semi-detached house.
What a day.
Oh.
What a whirlwind. Let's start with your least favourite.
Definitely the bungalow.
Yeah, and it was just a no from the outside, wasn't
just
it?
as soon as you walked up to it,
Yeah.
you knew.
Even though you could possibly knock things around and do things, it was just a big no-no, wasn't
No,
it?
definitely
OK, so we'll move that one to the side, which then leaves the post-war semi with the regal carpet and the modern family home. So let's start with the post-war semi. What was it that you liked about that? Because that was an instant reaction, wasn't it?
It felt like a home. You can move straight into it, and that's what my wife wants.
And the modern family home, you had the garden office stroke den at the back that I think really swung it for you.
I mean, the outside looked nice, you know, and the parking at the front for the cars and that, and for my little van is good. And then as you go into the back, and then you've got another room that gives you effectively the 4th bedroom, which I think swings it.
So it's the modern family home that's the clear favourite now?
Yeah.
For you?
For me.
What about your wife?
I would think my wife would go for the first one.
That's going to be fun.
Yes.
Who normally wins?
My wife.
So Alison and Nathan are the first choice.
Wow. Oh, brilliant. I'm really happy they picked our house.
It makes you feel like you're doing everything right, so that's all we can do, really. We just have to cross fingers now and hope that we're going to get a good price.
But the others have definitely improved their selling prospects.
I feel a little bit disappointed about coming third because the work we've done in here, I think, is amazing. It has made me feel a lot more confident that I've got more chance of interesting buyers now.
I think now we have got a sellable property, and just all we need now is people through the door.
A few days later, Alison and Nathan received an asking price offer from another buyer. With that one out of the equation, Laurence had decided to take wife Kim to see second choice Len and Pauline's post-war semi.
I think if you put nice flooring down, it would open this up completely. But you reckon you could go up on top as well?
They said that there's footings down that you can go up. I'm going to speak to the builder tonight and just get some rough figures off him for a single-storey extension.
And once we've got those, yes, I think we might put an offer in.
Laurence and Kim did put in an offer of £350,000, £25,000 under the asking price, but Len and Pauline are hoping for the full amount. Maureen's house is still on the market, but at a reduced price of just under £370,000, and hopefully a buyer will come soon. Today, honesty's the best policy.
This is my idea of hell.
We haven't got a conservatory on ours.
Yeah.
I know it's something you've always wanted.
Yes, it is,
Yeah. And
that and a new husband. It's a little bit
restricted, very restricted.
Budgets fly out the window.
The roof light was expensive. That has taken a lot of our budget.
And there's feisty competition.
I'd like to think that people would prefer our property over this property.
Our house is way beyond what this has got here.
I'm in High Wycombe in Buckinghamshire with 3 homeowners hoping to sell their very different properties to our buyers, newlyweds Laurence and Sheridan.
So this is the start of a very exciting journey for you two, isn't it? Your first home together.
Yes. I mean, we rented a couple of places, but neither of them have ever felt like a proper home.
Yeah.
And we got married in May, so...
Congratulations.
Thank you. But we're very keen to start a family and settle down into that kind of family lifestyle as quickly as possible.
First of all, tell me what your dream property would be. What are you looking for?
Because I'm a chef, I want a nice big kitchen.
I would like also to have somewhere that we could turn into sort of a man cave type room.
A sort of snugger kind of den, right?
Yeah, essentially.
So how many bedrooms are you looking for?
We want 3 or more, ideally, because we are looking to start a family, and we want somewhere we can move into, we can grow into.
In terms of style, what sort of house appeals?
I like modern, but not so modern that it doesn't have feeling. I like it to be kind of open and easy to maintain as well. Like loads of carpet everywhere is not going to work for me or our puppies, I think.
Yes, because of course it's not just you two, is it? It's the patter of tiny feet has already begun, and you've both got dogs.
Yes.
You need a garden as well. You need outside space.
Yes,
very
absolutely.
important. Yeah.
Should we start this journey then? Should we go and look at the first one?
Yes, absolutely.
Exciting.
For their wish list, they have a budget of £450,000.
Laurence and Sheridan are looking for a home they can bring a family up in, and I've lined up 3 very different properties for them to see. But before they take a look at any of them, our sellers get to see what they're up against.
First up, IT manager Neil, who lives in a 4-bedroom detached house and is very confident when it comes to his decor.
We've pretty much done every room in the house, just simple redecoration. Renovation, shall we say, or updating required. It was an ideal project for me at the time. We like order, but not minimalism. We like it to be warm and welcoming.
This house has a great amount of space, but there is one downside. There's an electrical substation in the back garden.
And I've really never had a problem with a substation. I think as we've cleared the garden back, its presence is more pronounced.
Make that very pronounced, Neil. But this place does come with 4 bedrooms, a garden, and £395,000 is well under budget for Laurence and Sheridan. Up against Neil in the race to sell, a retired couple, Brian and Jenny. Brian is a builder and built this 4-bedroom detached house from scratch, but is now too much to handle.
I planned to stay here until we got just that bit older, and then we decided, right, we think we'd best downsize.
The house was rented out for the first 6 years before they moved in a year ago, but they've kept the easy-to-maintain magnolia walls from top to bottom.
We've never been great lovers of wallpaper and styles, and we've worried more about carpets and furnishings and different things like that.
The only thing we thought that if it was a neutral colour, then anything would go with it, and then you get used to something and you don't change.
Although slightly bland, Brian and Jenny's modern-build house has masses of space that could appeal to Laurence and Sheridan. With 4 bedrooms, a conservatory and a loft to be used as a man cave, it ticks all the boxes and is on the market at £425,000. The third competing sellers are sales manager and homeopath Anthony and Linda. They've redesigned their chalet bungalow into a modern contemporary home.
It's about the quality of all the additional items. So we tried to invest a bit more in the lighting and those sort of things to finish the room off.
They've extended their loft, but whilst creating more room in the attic, it's left one rather small and awkward space, which seems to be putting potential buyers off.
It's that little bedroom or the office, isn't it, which people really don't like, understandably. It would be lovely to be able to move on, to go somewhere different.
It just means another chapter opening, another challenge in a house, in a slightly different area.
And it would give you something to do.
Yeah, a bit of DIY on the side.
Yeah.
So Anthony and Linda's comes with 4 bedrooms, including a study, which could be Laurence's man cave. It's priced just under £430,000. So it's Neil in his detached house, Brian and Jenny in their new build, and Anthony and Linda in their chalet bungalow, all competing for an offer.
To help the sellers see how they can improve their properties, they get to take a sneaky peek at their rivals' homes. This should inspire their makeover decisions and help them beat the competition.
First, it's Neil's 1970s detached home.
Neil and his wife Mandy's 4-bedroom detached house has plenty to offer potential buyers, but are they making the most of what they've got? And will the other sellers be put off by a high-voltage surprise lurking at the bottom of their garden?
Well, the views around
nice.
it's nice.
And you don't get people keep coming up this road, particularly, you know,
It's a cul-de-sac road, you know, it's not a through road.
It's not the most prettiest of houses I've ever seen,
Looks like a 70s sort of build to me.
but it's on a beautiful big sort of corner plot, so the garden looks lovely.
Yes.
Mixed first impressions from the outside, now for the inside.
It's nice, very nice.
Nice size.
Friendly, nice.
Nice, cosy there.
Cosy.
Cosy.
Cosy round, yeah. It's busy.
Too busy.
Too busy.
Much too busy.
My gosh, I thought you kept our office in a mess. I don't think we're going to
well,
both
it just shows you how good I am, doesn't
in
it?
here.
Whilst Anthony claims a few brownie points, Brian and Jenny are seeing what colour and tone can add to magnolia walls.
It is possibly
It is nicer.
not so builder's green like my house, our house. When we go home, we'll probably have to have some similar thoughts of what these people have done to soften our room.
You've got a white carpet, white walls, white roller blind. It's like a snowstorm, you know. It needs some colour.
Maybe the sitting room's better.
It's actually quite a nice room.
Don't like the colours, don't like green. It's just too much.
So the insides aren't impressing, and they haven't seen the view from upstairs.
Don't care for the substation.
Yeah, well, that
Don't
would
care
worry
for-
me.
I'd never buy anything with...
It's just
That
one of
in there.
those things.
Oh, my God.
What?
Well, it overlooks that.
Oh.
That's hideous.
No surprises at the reaction to the substation, but that does mean it's the cheapest of the 3 properties at £395,000.
Oh, that's
Is it?
cheap.
That's a very good deal.
That's,
Shame that it had the problem in the rear garden, which is obviously the reason it's not 425.
Our house is way beyond what
Yeah.
this has got here.
Yeah, for me, our house is very competitively priced.
So Anthony and Linda don't see this as competition. But Brian and Jenny have realised how a splash of colour could help their house. Which is the next stop.
Brian and Jenny have a modern home that's been rented out for most of its life. So will it lack that warm, welcoming atmosphere that so many potential buyers are looking for?
First impression's good.
Yeah, it does. It looks clean, it looks nice.
Yeah, it's a lovely view as you walk down here, nice and quiet, lovely tranquil area, typical of High Wycombe, I found. It's just these little enclaves of nice, quiet, well-presented houses.
We haven't got a conservatory on ours.
Yeah, we would
I know
like
it's
a
something you've always
conservatory.
wanted.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Yes. And,
That and a new husband.
yeah, well, you can't get one of those. They're very precious.
Now, Linda.
Oh, this is lovely.
Yeah.
Light and bright. That's gaudy. Gosh, there's too many different colours and...
It's a large room.
But it's a beautiful room.
Upstairs.
It's being purposed not as a bedroom, but as a study, and I have to say, compared to my study, this is a far neater presentation.
All it takes is a bit of tidying.
It's probably easier for people to reach that conclusion that they could repurpose this room. Mine is probably far too cluttered. It might be more of a barrier to people visualising that.
Hooray! Neil has seen the light. Upstairs, it seems Anthony and Linda are picking up tips for their own loft space.
They've made a bit more use of the Veluxes than we may have done. So we could look at that. Maybe we could look at putting some additional Veluxes to let more light in.
So this place has got the rivals worried until they hear the price tag of £425,000.
I'd like to think that people would prefer our property over this property, given the factor that price always plays in purchasing houses.
Ours, just by purely the location, is probably better value.
Time to see if that's true, as next stop is Anthony and Linda's house.
Anthony and Linda have lived in their house for the last 17 years and have got used to its very unconventional layout. But the big worry is, will the layout put off potential buyers?
Looks nice. As I say, the steps worry us a little bit. It's a quiet spot.
What I'm expecting when I get up to the top is some fantastic views out to the countryside.
And I like the floors.
Yes.
I don't mind the colour on the walls, that's quite nice.
Lovely bright room, great views out across the valley.
So downstairs is making the rival sellers jealous. How about upstairs?
I think space-wise is about the same, but accessibility of that space and uniformity and height of ceiling, I think we'd have an advantage in the master bedroom.
And it seems things don't get better in the loft.
It's a little bit...
Restricted.
Yeah, it's a little
Very
bit...
restricted.
I wouldn't want to come and bang my head in this, and I probably would.
It's actually quite an interesting room. At first I thought this would be very small, but then you come around the corner and there's this little Aladdin's cave, which is ideal for a man room.
Neil doesn't seem fazed, but will that change with the price tag being just under £430,000?
We would look good to prospective purchasers in terms of value for money. I'd like to think we've got the upper hand.
No, I'm surprised at that.
In compared to ours,
it's not
the same.
Neil is holding out on his house being the cheapest to entice buyers, whilst Brian and Jenny don't feel threatened at all. I'm in High Wycombe, where our buyers, newlyweds Laurence and Sheridan, have been saving up to buy their first home together.
One of the reasons that we want to move is to actually make sure that the money that we are spending each month is going into something rather than kind of just going down the drain.
I've lined up 3 great properties for them to view, but before I show them round, the sellers had a chance to eye up each other's houses.
Now that they've seen the competition, they each get £1,000 to spend on improvements to their home. And if they spend it wisely, it could really increase their chances of securing a sale.
I don't think we've got too much to worry about on our house. Yes, OK. I have to have a little think about the colours. All in all, we haven't got a bad house. I've almost sold it to myself.
You do sort of question yourself if it's not moving after a few months, is the price right? But comparing it now to some of the houses in the same price range, it's better than the other two. Overall, much better, you know.
For both properties that I've seen today, both of them have some compromises in the all-important sleeping accommodation with the eave. So on that basis, I would prefer my house over both of the houses I've seen today.
So everyone's feeling their places are the best, but I reckon they could all be better. So time for some harsh words, starting at Neil's. The first area I want to tackle is his cramped and cluttered study.
Neil, this is my idea of hell. I'm in a man cave. It's a very blokey boy colour, and I think most people would step into the door and have a look and think, whoa, that's way too small. Do you have lots of boxes for old mobile phones that you'll never need again?
Have you been in here before?
You know what I'm going to say. It needs a really good sort out. I would suggest getting rid of at least 2/3 of what you've got in here. I would be tempted to put the desk over in that corner, so when people come in, the first thing that they see is just that amazing view. Create an environment that people can come in and think, oh, they're currently using it as an office, but I could use it as my guest bedroom, I could use it as the children's bedroom. How long do you think it's going to take you to declutter this?
I'll be working late tonight, won't I?
Yes. I can see not much sleep being had.
No.
Neil seems open to my suggestions so far. Now for that big issue with this house.
There is one feature that's not so positive, which I feel is probably the thing that is stopping this house from selling, and that is the substation.
It doesn't bother us, but I can absolutely see that it bothers others.
Yeah. I would suggest buying some big pots, plant something like bamboo, big established plants, and it would just soften the lines and it would cover a lot of what you're staring at there. It would probably take up quite a lot of your budget, but I do think it's something that's worth looking into.
Absolutely.
And things that you think you could do?
Yes, absolutely.
trouble is with garden makeovers is that they can be very expensive and take a lot of time, neither of which Neil has in abundance, so he's going to need to be very inventive.
Great ideas on the garden. It's always been the project that we've wanted to finish, and it's great to get some fresh ideas on that. Loved Amanda's suggestions. It came as no surprise to me that the man room was going to fall sacrifice here.
That said, he cracks on with his messy man room.
The plan for this room, plaster is in tomorrow. That's a wall needs skimming, some coving to go in, and then we'll lift all the carpet up. We want buyers to be able to visualise this as a single bedroom as well as a study. So it'd be minimal furniture, the desk going into the corner here from its current location, and then really dressing it as a dual-purpose room. Plaster is here at 8 in the morning, so I think I've got a long night ahead of me, really getting everything out but in an orderly fashion.
Next, I'm at Brian and Jenny's. One of the things the sellers picked up on was the amount of clutter in their sitting room.
This is a great room. It's a really big size. It feels a bit mismatched.
Yeah.
Whose knickknacks are these?
I thought they would be.
There's nothing wrong with a knickknack unless you're trying to sell a house.
Yeah, true.
What I think would be nice here, if you can, get someone to build you a low-level cabinet. Yeah?
Yeah, I agree.
OK, that's something you can do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Upstairs, I want to talk to them about making use of that loft space and adding some colour to the slightly bland interior.
What do you use this area for?
A bit more junk. But the other bedroom is our grandchildren area where they sleep.
Again, I think what needs to happen in this particular area is to clear it all out. Yes. If you are appealing to people with children, this is a perfect space. I'd have killed for a space like this when I was a kid. It would be nice to see some form of storage up here. Maybe even some sort of children's rug, you know, a coloured rug for the kids to play on. Just something to inject a bit of life and vibrancy up here and create a proper designated kids zone.
Lovely.
Yeah?
Lovely.
Yes, that sounds really good.
Excellent.
Really good.
Brian and Jenny don't realise what a gem they have here. Space comes at a premium, so making the most of all usable rooms will entice a buyer.
I think that this is a great house and all it needs is to be decluttered and reorganised. However, there is an awful lot to do and there are only 2 of them. So I think now is the time to rally the troops.
And I'm going to be the first to volunteer to help.
I just wanted to show you very quickly how you can go about instantly transforming a room just by using throws, cushions and bits and pieces that you've got around the house.
Right.
Pick a colour in a room and use it throughout the room.
Go through it, yes.
Right.
So if you have a look in here, you've got those curtains. Well, let's use that as the accent colour. Bear with me for a second and let me just show you, because I noticed you had another throw in one of your other bedrooms.
Yes.
Now, if you just put that side and spread that out for me, then if you could find a couple of big cushions, this colour, to put here, instantly that bed is transformed.
Making use of objects around the house to add texture and colour is simple and won't cost you much.
If you just quickly got rid of that and that, and I found this is my favourite vase that I like from downstairs.
Yes, I see what
that there, and then a vase with some flowers here.
Yep.
Will instantly transform this and make it feel more homely.
Yeah.
That painting you've got behind you, could you just pass it to me? Because I think it is absolutely beautiful. And it's just lost behind the door. Even if you could put that... Can you just see the difference now?
Yes, that's lovely. Yes.
Instantly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Feels...
I can see it draws it all together.
It draws it all together.
The final house is Anthony and Linda's. Whilst the layout works well downstairs, it's the compromised 4th bedroom in the attic that causes concern.
In my opinion, I think you should market it as a 3-bed with an extra room, because people coming to this house expecting 4 big bedrooms will be disappointed. It doesn't really serve a purpose. The carpet, I've noticed, runs out.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a bit of warmth injected into it. So I'd like to see the walls painted and a warmer carpet. Instead of having your dining room as a dining room stroke den stroke everything else, create this part as the den. So the sofa there, the TV there, and if you can, stick a window in. Stick a window in. So all of a sudden, what you've created in this space is an area that would really appeal to teenagers.
It sounds a lot of work, but should make a big difference. Next, a room that sellers didn't pick up on, surprisingly.
Am I right in thinking that you decorated this bathroom in the mid to late 90s?
Yes. Yes.
Back in the 90s, this would have been cutting edge, totally fashionable, but we're not in the 90s anymore.
No, we've had a time warp since then.
The good thing about it is the suite is perfect. You don't need to change the suite.
Okay.
The only thing I would suggest doing in here is repainting it.
Yeah.
Sorry, little fishies, but you've got to go. Like a soft off-white colour, and then maybe think about repainting the wooden panelling so it just blends in. So as you come out of your bedroom, use the same colour palette that you've had in there, in here as well.
Okay.
I've just one final idea that I think would benefit the layout downstairs.
You don't need another TV here for now. I'd like to see the sofa gone, and I'd like to see this opened up into a big, proper dining table. Set it up as if you were about to have a dinner party.
Okay. So where will I go then when we have a row?
To the little area up the top. To the snug. This house has some fantastic selling points and also a few things that don't quite work. So it's now Tony and Linda's job to make sure that the positives far outweigh the negatives.
Amanda's idea, I think probably what we'd strongly agree with, is probably the area upstairs in the sort of odd bedroom, don't we, where we can try and make something more functional of that rather than it just being a storage area.
They're not messing around. The skylight is being put in.
Immediately, the energy of the rooms change. So rather than it being a dumping ground, I think it'll be an area that we'll use.
Before installing a skylight, always check with your local planning office to make sure there aren't any planning restrictions. You can buy basic models from £170. Electronically operated ones can cost up to £700. Installation costs would be on top. 3 homeowners in the affluent town of High Wycombe, Buckinghamshire, are competing with each other to sell their home to buyers Laurence and Sheridan.
We're in quite a small house and we're already overflowing out of that. It'd be nice to have somewhere where we can expand and start our family and settle in.
After snooping around each other's houses to check out the competition, they're now busy making over their properties to try and bag an offer. There's windows going in and clutter going out.
Immediately, the energy of the rooms change. So rather than it being a dumping ground, I think it'll be an area that we'll use.
We want buyers to be able to visualise this as a single bedroom as well as a study.
Inspired to add some colour and texture using accessories into their magnolia rooms, Brian and Jenny head to the shops.
I think it's great.
Do you?
Because it brings in our white cupboards that
Well,
we've
it
got.
brings in the colour in the curtain.
Yes, that's one of those.
And also, you've got to get that colour with the cushion with that colour.
That's right.
Oh, check you out, Brian, going all Laurence Llewellyn-Bowen.
Jen has most of the say. These ladies know what they're doing. This is quite a normal occurrence where we get lost, where Jen's looking for something specific and I just follow on, as one does.
Yeah, I specifically want white, and I can't find them.
Best to just follow on, Brian.
And you're picking out the curtain colour.
2 of those. I love it.
And it goes with that one.
Yes.
So that's throws, beanbags, cushions, and more cushions. They're spending over £400, but it'll definitely add some life to their house.
Things are not terribly cheap if you want some quality. And we think we've purchased quality. They're very good items, weren't they?
They are.
Yeah, perfect.
Back home, with the help from their son Simon, Brian and Jenny have begun to declutter their sitting room.
That's true. We're going to take what Amanda wanted to leave. So there's only 3 or 4 items.
That one.
That one. Sorry, there's a jug. And these 3 items here. We're going to declutter. Take everything out that is really useless in here anyway. Hopefully we can do that today.
It's just nice to get a second opinion of what somebody else might want to view when they come around to look at the house, so it's good advice.
They've spent nearly £350 on a storage unit that Simon has had the pleasure of building.
It's definitely not as domineering as the black unit. And I think this fades in the background, the white. Obviously, Amanda knows a bit about it.
All 3 sellers are hard at work, but it's only a matter of days before Laurence and Sheridan come to view, so they have to keep up the momentum.
With the skylight in, I'm glad to see Anthony and Linda are taking my advice to re-carpet.
That's a better quality, isn't it, I guess? Or they pretty much... It'll be either of those, I think.
I'd say that one's probably going to last longer on the stairs.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Better quality comes at a price, and with the carpet costing a whopping £300, they're at the brink of their budget.
But I think we are prepared to put some of our own money in because we want to get things looking exactly right.
With the carpet being ordered in, the dated 90s look is being ordered out.
It's fantastic. It's so much brighter. You can see with the lights on and the reflection already in the paint, it just looks bigger, you know, because it's much lighter now.
In a small bathroom, it's a good idea to paint a light, bright colour that can bounce light around the room. It's always wise to use a special bathroom paint, so when there's moisture in the air, it won't peel off. You can buy this from as little as £14 a tin. With time running out, Anthony and Linda have asked their decorator Mark to help out.
Mark in the corner's doing a fantastic job. He's been here since 7 o'clock this morning, and I've only made him 1 cup of tea.
Best get the kettle on then, while Mark and I swap a few decorating tips.
So I've got my paint, I've got my bathroom. What's the next step?
You need to prepare, yes indeed. You need to take off any fixtures and fittings, turn off the fuses if you're going to take switches off, mask them up, masking tape.
Yep. The surfaces can sometimes be a bit, I don't know, they've got bits of soap or shampoo on them where you've sort of washed your hair and you have to wash them all down?
As with every room, wash it down with sugar soap, rinse it off, let it dry, very important you don't paint a wet wall, and then that'll give you a nice surface to paint on.
Where do you start on a wall? Because you've got to cut in, haven't you?
Cut in a good couple of inches down the top of the room, and then when you blend in the other paint, you won't get unsightly lines.
Right.
And then when that's dry, not before, paint the walls.
And how many coats do you need?
Usually at least 2. If you're covering stencils, you might need 5.
Those dreaded stencils.
Having spent their budget on the skylight and carpet, Anthony and Linda are paying £400 for Mark to decorate and revamp their bathroom. At Neil's, with his study finally empty, wife Mandy is taking control of the paint colour.
As a stand-in, silver mist. I know it doesn't really show out too much on a small swatch.
Yeah, but once you've done the wall, it will look fine.
Yeah.
And make the room look bigger.
Yeah, so we'll crack on with silver mist and have a look maybe after one wall and see what we think.
What it's like.
Yeah.
So, paint chosen, he turns his attention to camouflaging the electrical substation.
Definitely come to the right place with pots, haven't we?
Yeah. Oh, that is lovely. But is it deep enough?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We've made a decision. Really like these ones, and they've got a nice weight to them and a good wide base, which will hopefully stop the bamboo being affected by the wind.
And looks like they might be able to stretch their budget a bit further.
We seem to have come at the right time. There's a special offer on, so we're hoping to get the maximum amount for our money.
We're here for a bargain.
With time running out, Brian and Jenny have got some very special volunteers, their grandchildren Daisy and Larry, to help with those finishing touches.
I think it'll make good space, and I think that was the best thing Amanda said. Get rid of your clutter and, you know, let the children utilise it as they should, really.
And we're going to make some boxes for these loose toys to fill in. But, of course, we've got these new boxes, haven't we, to fill up, which slide out and hopefully get a few more stored in there.
Yeah.
And play, that's the big thing. We've got to play, haven't we, Daisy? And Larry.
The living room used to be a mismatch of styles and overloaded with knickknacks. But by simply clearing and adding a modern storage unit, it's now become a more streamlined and spacious place.
It looks so different in here. I mean, it just instantly has opened up the entire room. Are you exhausted?
I think I've lost a bit of weight.
Brilliant! You could bring out a whole new exercise and diet book called the Declutter Diet.
And I usually like a little kip in the afternoons.
But
that's
not
forgot now for the last 2 weeks.
No siesta.
No siesta.
Upstairs, the loft space was wasted, but now it's laid out so buyers can see its potential as a fun children's games room.
It's brilliant, because what it's done now is it's defined the space, and what it says to any potential buyers is, you know, this is a space if you've got children that they can all come up and play in. Yeah, it looks great.
It's just usable, isn't it?
Yeah. I want to look at the bedroom now. Can we go up and have a look at your master bedroom? You two lead the way.
Go on then, you can go first. I'll let you go.
The master bedroom was muted and bland. By simply adding colour and some homely touches, it's been given a new lease of life.
I have to say, I'm so impressed with you two. You've really listened to what I said, and you've done such a brilliant job. That looks fantastic in that corner.
Yes.
And you've chosen all the colours really well. Because this works.
Yes,
I chose that.
You chose that. Did you? Well done.
That's
Look at
not
you,
bad.
Mr. Style Guru. And then things like the fresh flowers, which I see you've got as well. You know, little tiny things like this will just finish off a corner of the room. You can start taking your siestas in here now, Brian. Now you've done all the hard work.
That's what it's all about.
Just don't muck up the cushions.
No.
After all that hard work, Brian and Jenny both deserve a lie down. Anthony and Linda have also undertaken some hefty improvements, finishing with a new carpet in the loft.
Been a stressful week, you know, a few days to get quite a lot of things done. It's been a lot to do, and to be honest, I've had to leave a lot of the organisation to Linda.
I was going to say, you haven't been here, have you? I've done it all.
Yeah, well, I had to give you something to do, keep you really busy.
The confused, cramped loft space is now a usable place.
So has this last week broken you both? Are you exhausted?
It's been a bit on the stressful side. There's been a lot to do in a week.
By the addition of the window and making this a sort of chill-out zone, it works, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
We didn't think it would be as good as this.
Because you've defined the area, it's much easier for potential buyers to see it as a space.
Another room to entice our buyers is the once eye-catching 90s throwback, which is now a streamlined, light and calm bathroom.
But what a difference. The bathroom looks incredible. I think it's fantastic.
Brilliant, thank you.
Downstairs, the reconfigured back room can be seen for what it should be, a dining room.
What a difference moving that sofa out of here has made. It now feels like a proper formal dining room. Do you like it?
I think it's fantastic. I mean, it's defined it as a room now.
Having the dining table out is great, but there's one tip I think always makes a difference.
Should we just finish doing it?
Okay.
Always have fresh flowers on a table.
Yeah, always.
And always quite handy if anyone just pops round for an impromptu dinner party.
Well, that would be good.
And little ones on top. I think it makes a real difference because you walk in here now and you're like, oh, look, this could be a great dining room. And what it does is it allows people to see how the space can be used.
It's a much, much better use of this room.
And now you've done all the changes, how do you think you stand in the competition?
Oh, yes, definitely ahead.
We think we'll win.
Also hoping they're ahead of the competition is Neil, who's doing the last-minute touches to his garden.
It occurred to me when Amanda was round that these steps were getting a bit slippery. They don't want to look brand new, but just want to take the slippery edge off. The bamboo, now we're putting into position into the pots. Unfortunately, the wood's too wet to have painted, so we're going to have to come back to that when the wood dries out. A couple more bamboo plants in to go. Garden's looking ready for Amanda.
Neil's biggest challenge was his messy study, which now has the potential to be a nursery or a child's bedroom.
Wow. How pleased are you, Mandy, on a scale of 1 to 10?
Really pleased. It's unrecognisable.
Instantly, you walk in here now and you can see that it's an office for you. But already I'm thinking, wow, you know, if we had a baby, you could put the cot there, or you could do this, or you could... Yeah. It's just opened up the whole room, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
So you've painted the walls and new carpet.
So we've had the plasterer, the carpet fitter.
Yeah. In terms of your budget, did this room take up a big chunk of it?
About half of the budget, really. It's equally between this and the garden.
Perfect. For £500, it's just transformed the room, hasn't it?
It has. You know, certainly there's a lot of hours gone into this.
And all the little touches like the roses. Who was in charge of the roses? Was that you?
Neil bought those.
Oh, get you. Oh, you're all metrosexual now. Now you've got a nice clean study.
Outside, the electrical substation was a real eyesore, but I'm glad Neil has taken my advice to obscure it with some clever bamboo.
The plants look great.
Thank you.
They really have made a massive difference, and I know that bamboo is very expensive. How's your budget done out here?
The bamboo actually came in under £300 for the 7 plants. The pots, we were very lucky. We got those at 50% off, so it came in at about 100.
Great. I'm really happy with the way it looks now. It looks pretty. It's nice that they're all different heights. So to show people, you know, we do want to make the garden look quite pretty and try and disguise what's behind the fence.
Yes.
It's quite a nice thing to do.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I think it looks great.
I'm in High Wycombe, preparing to show Laurence and Sheridan 3 properties in the hope they'll place an offer on one of our sellers' houses. Neil and Mandy have hidden the eyesore that was the electrical substation in their garden.
We've managed to get the bamboo. We didn't have the visualisation of how that would look, and I think biting the bullet and getting it in, I'm pleased we have.
Brian and Jenny have put their loft space to good use.
A lovely space.
It's a good space, and we wasted it until Amanda came along and said, "I think you should,
Do this or that. And we appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's very good.
And Anthony and Linda's revamped loft space have left them feeling rather confident.
The upstairs bedroom, really, which is the study room and the now a breakout room, looks fantastic. And I'm sure our house will win out of the 3.
Well, not long to find out, as their chalet bungalow is the first property viewed by my buyers, Laurence and Sheridan.
So if you did buy this house, you'd have thighs of steel from walking up the hill all the time. So this is the first property you're going to be seeing. What do you think?
I really like the front garden.
A bit concerned about the stairs.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's not a deal breaker necessarily.
Slightly sceptical about the access to the house, but let's see if they have a change of heart when they get into the house.
So, living room?
I like that area with the fire and the sort of feature wall.
Very much struck me as well.
Very nice, yeah.
Excellent. And the bit that I want to show you first of all is just through here, so come this way.
So they're warming to this place, and the newly laid out dining room should sell it even more.
For me, this room really is special.
We've always wanted to have like dinner parties and invite friends around. And,
Yeah, very
and
much.
we just don't have the space at the minute, so something like this would be really nice. Yeah.
I like how it feels quite open, but it's not totally open plan.
Also, so far so good. Should we go and look at the man cave?
Yes,
The man cave.
All good downstairs, but I'm hoping the newly decluttered and cosy man cave that Laurence said he was after could help seal the deal.
So this is the office stroke den stroke gaming part stroke, call it what you want. It's an unusual shape.
For me, this space is a bit small and a bit cramped.
The rest of the house has been lovely. I think this is a bit of a letdown to it.
But it's quite weird because I've just seen you go from being really excited to coming in here and going a bit like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a bit. I can definitely see they've made the best use of the space.
Yeah.
But it's got character, but it's not going to click with us.
That's a shame. Will the price put this house in or out of the running?
How much do you think it's on the market for?
I would have said about 395, 400 maybe.
Yep.
I'd say a bit less. I'd say about 375.
It's actually more than that. It's on at 429,950, so it's right at the top end.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Really is somewhere that does feel like a home, and could be a family home.
Yeah. Downstairs, definitely.
Downstairs
the living
works.
room, the dining room, amazing.
Shall we continue the journey?
Absolutely.
Go and look at something else.
Next, Neil and Mandy's.
What do you think?
I really like it.
Very nice.
Outside, yeah.
So the outside is a definite yes.
Absolutely.
Let's see if the inside matches. Should we go on it?
Okay.
Come on. Does your enthusiasm keep going?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
The size of that
The living room. Huge,
yeah.
Lovely.
Definitely
it's
still with it.
Good so far.
Yep.
Thumbs up so far. Next stop, Neil's once chaotic and cluttered study.
So 4 bedrooms, this being one of them. This is the man cave,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. This would be big enough.
Does it have a good feel for you, Sheridan?
Well, yeah, the house as a whole, it does have a really nice sort of fresh feel to it. The only thing that would be a problem for me is the kitchen, really.
Right, that you feel it's a bit too small.
I feel it is a bit small, yeah.
The last area to show them is the garden. How well has Neil's barrier of bamboo hidden that electrical substation?
What are you thinking?
Beautiful.
The views are lovely, yeah.
Really, really nice. What's the area then that's inside the fencing?
The other side of that, where the bamboo plants are, that's where your garden stops. That is an electric substation. Some people find it a bit of an eyesore. The way I look at it is that this is your garden, and that just happens to be on the edge of your garden.
For me, it's not a deal breaker. I'm really not too fussed by it.
It's not a major issue, but I am just a bit concerned about sort of kids, when they get a bit older, climbing in there.
You can see what the current owners have done. They've planted bamboo all the way down the sides of it. Probably, I would think, 6 months to a year. That will be high enough to completely obscure that. It is reflected in the price. What do you both think the asking price for this is?
I'd have said 425, maybe 430.
It's 395,000.
Wow.
So lots of money left in the communal pot
Yeah.
for sorting that kitchen out.
It's at the lower end of our budget, so
Yeah.
there is the money to work with, so we can actually plan for making those alterations, which is brilliant.
Yeah. With the price, yeah, it does make
Yeah.
a big difference.
Excellent. Excellent.
So lots to think about, with the third property still to come. And the last house is Brian and Jenny's.
This is the property that I'm going to be showing you, the one on the end here with the detached garage.
Wow. It's huge.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely big.
Yeah.
Great first impressions. I really like it.
Yeah.
Really? Yep.
Oh.
There was a sharp, happy intake of breath, I hope.
Wow.
I really like this.
That is lovely.
It's open and light.
There's lots of big smiles going on, which I'm
Yeah.
very pleased to see. Shall we continue?
Yes.
Let's go upstairs. You lead the way into what could be your new home.
This is fantastic. Next, the once forgotten attic, now laid out as a games room.
Wow.
What do you reckon?
This is lovely.
Games room.
At the moment, the owners use this with their grandchildren. So you're thinking...
This is so, yeah, games room, definitely. Could work in here really, really well.
It's, you know, it can grow organically, can't it? As your family grow, you can...
Change things around.
When they become teenagers, you'll be really glad to shut them off.
Yeah.
Shut the door on them. Is there anything that you don't like about it?
I'm struggling to find something on it.
Well, that's good.
Well, the only thing I could really pick out if I had to pick something is the family bathroom is maybe a little bit small, but I think it's completely workable.
Yeah. What do you both think the asking price for this is?
I think at least $450.
I would have gone a lot less. I would have said, yeah, $390, $400. Yeah.
Well, split the difference, 425.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe I was a little unfair on the house.
Lots of food for thought, though.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Big discussions.
Yeah, there's going to be, some real discussions about that.
So it's Anthony and Linda's chalet bungalow, Neil's detached house, and Brian and Jenny's spacious new build. Time for tea.
So we've seen 3 very different properties, haven't we? Which one are you not going to be going for?
I think we agree on it's the first one.
The hillside
chalet. Yeah, the upstairs was too small.
Yeah.
It was just that little bit too cramped for me.
So that leaves the corner house and the builder's house. Let's start with the corner house, because you were both quite taken with that, weren't you? Even though the kitchen for you, Sheridan, was a bit small.
It was just that kitchen is something that's sticking in my mind, and it didn't really work for me.
What about you?
I was a lot more sold on that house. I thought,
liked it, didn't you?
I thought there were a lot of opportunities there for putting our own kind of individual mark on the house. The price made it very feasible for us to make those changes.
Well, the builder's house, because you loved the builder's house.
Yeah.
That was I'm guessing that was your favourite out of all
definitely.
3.
Yeah, that was my favourite.
Are you in agreement on the overall favourite or not?
I don't think we are.
But if you had to choose one of them, both of you, if I was giving one away, which one would you want to move into?
I'd go with the builder's one, probably.
The builder's one.
So you know, it's the double purpose of keeping my wife happy, but also it does have a lot of potential, and it might just take a second viewing and a bit more of a discussion.
A bit more of a nudge.
Yes.
Like that. Well, good luck with it. Whatever you decide to do, I do hope you find your new future home.
Thank
you. Thank you very much.
So Brian and Jenny's new build family home is the one they're most keen on.
Okay.
Well,
Good, isn't it?
we thought we'd come third.
We're pleased with that, very pleased.
Yeah. To have somebody interested, I don't think we would have had anybody interested if we had that much clutter. I'm sure we wouldn't have done that.
Although the other houses weren't top of the list, the sellers are definitely hopeful an offer will come soon.
Very enthused, and I'm sure we'll find a buyer soon.
Well, I'm surprised. I would have thought ours would have won. It's a fantastic place still, and I think we've made it even better, quite frankly. I feel confident that we're going to get a buyer now.
After a bit more thought, Laurence and Sheridan decided Brian and Jenny's wasn't for them after all. But Brian and Jenny have since received an offer. However, it was too low, and they're holding out for something better. Anthony and Linda have taken their house off the market for the time being. But good news for Neil, as a few weeks later he received an offer just under the asking price, which he accepted.
I think it's helped us to sell our house, which is clearly the objective, and it's helped us to hopefully realise our dream of moving forward into our dream home.